From day one, I sampled and lived on a natural, native Indiana product, and that is Hoosier hospitality.
Born in Hong Kong, Carolyn Yao-Yun Wu came to Indiana very much alone.
I arrived in a little airport at Purdue in West Lafayette with two very, very heavy suitcases that did not have wheels in those days. My mother had packed blankets and long underwear out of her imagination of these frightful winters in the Midwest.
She came there as an immigrant at 18, a very frightened and scared young lady facing an unknown future with little support, either financial or family, and landed at Purdue, got her 3 degrees from Purdue, became a faculty member and was there for 25 years.
I studied a lot because when I first came, I only had 1 year of funding. So I signed up for as many credit hours as my schedule could accommodate because I thought I only had 1 year. It's like people going into a supermarket with 1 cart and they try to load up. So I tried to load up credit hours. I signed up for 24 credit hours each semester.
When she came to Purdue, she didn't have any money, just enough money to make it through the first year. And then she was able to get funding from the university for the next 3 years. And then she continued on at Purdue through the doctorate, and then she had so impressed people there that they were on a track to be a major administrator eventually.
Bringing her faith from Hong Kong, Carolyn joined the Newman Club, serving Catholic students at Purdue, met her husband there, and they eventually started a family. In 1997, a new opportunity came calling when Notre Dame needed a dean for their business school.
She impressed me as very bright, energetic, having a lot of leadership skills. The big thing for her was that she wanted to leave Purdue because she and her husband and 2 sons were very happy there. But she was very much recruitable because we were a Catholic university, and she takes her faith quite seriously.
I spent about an hour and a half telling Carolyn all the wonderful things that were going to happen at Purdue and could happen at Purdue, and she listened patiently, and at the end said to me, "Tim, you don't understand." And I said, what don't I understand? And she said, "This is a calling from God." So I got out my white handkerchief and I said, "I don't think we can match that offer."
But was it her faith or a challenge?
At one point, they asked me the question. They said, people feel that we cannot be a Catholic business school and be taken seriously. That we would be thought of as sort of like soft-hearted people who could not think astutely. And I immediately answered, I thought that was ridiculous. I thought it was a ridiculous trade-off to think that ethics and success are orthogonal to each other, rather than complementary.
And when the Notre Dame Business School got ranked #1 in the country for the undergraduate program, one of the things that they highlighted was the emphasis on ethics at Notre Dame's business school.
That effort has spread to other business schools. She's been a real leader in the whole concept of business and ethics are inseparable.
In 2012, Carolyn was asked to serve as president and CEO of Catholic Relief Services worldwide, serving 100 million people with $1 billion worth of aid and services annually.
She also knew that job in Catholic Relief Services International was going to take her into some of the most dangerous places in the world. She wasn't intimidated. She did her part, and she very much encouraged the people who were working in those conditions.
All my work at that point was probably looking at business from top down. And I work with a lot of corporate boards, but now I go into that field and see sort of from the bottom up, how do those actions and decisions really affect people at the bottom? Is the work of reaching out to the poorest and the most vulnerable, and to do it in a way which is most accountable and effective.
There was a renowned international magazine which named the 500 most powerful people in the world. Carolyn Wu was one of those 500. And perhaps even more important, they had a subcategory of 33 of those 500 who were named forces for good in the world. What better accolade could anyone have than to be labeled as one of the 33 most powerful people as forces for good in the world? They're just fantastic. She has over 30 honorary doctorate degrees. She's not motivated by ambition. She just wants to help other people, and that's a guiding force.
I think the next generation of leaders need to have a sense of what is their life for? What is the purpose? What are their big questions? To not think small. How should they use their gifts? And how can we as a society, as a world, be better for all?
Please join the Indiana Historical Society in congratulating Indiana living legend Carolyn Wu.